All right, welcome to the right side of Kentucky sports. It is Wednesday. Fuck, I don't even know the date, Anthony. What is it? It's April
15th,
14th,
tax day.
15th. It is. You're right. It's tax day. You're stressed. I'm not because I got an extension. You've got work to do here in the next couple hours. So we're probably going to try to condense this episode a little bit so Anthony can get his taxes done. Last year we were talking about Anthony doing his taxes in the shower, fucking with Anthony. But here we are again. It's tax day, and Anthony still hasn't get them done. I don't know why you didn't get the extension, bro. Get the extension. I never did until about 3 years ago, and now I just get whatever year. We're pushing that shit back to October. Even though when I get to October, I'm pissed that I did it, but
Yeah.
it
It's a
is
good
what it
thing
is.
if you die, maybe you don't have to file them. I don't know how that works.
That is
I like that
true.
idea. I like the idea of that, dude. I
Push
want to
it back
die.
just in
I
case.
want to die owing them money. I promise you that.
You know that. That's a good point. All right. So we are me and Anthony are here. Josh is, if you listen to the first half, he never came back from vacation. He just I don't know if he's just extending it a week. I don't know if he is on a lifetime vacation now. But he keeps sending us pictures of beautiful women. I know he's got a wife, but he's on a beach somewhere out there and he just keeps sending us pictures. I guess he's trying to tease us with the white sands and the pretty women. And he keeps sending these like $1 million yacht pictures. Like, I don't know if he's on the yacht. I don't know if it's his yacht. I don't know what he's doing, but Josh ain't here. He showed up last week from his balcony in Florida while Anthony was in Disney World, but this week, Josh is busy with the big dogs. We've been taking guesses. I said maybe sailing the Mediterranean. Then I guessed maybe he went to the homeland. Maybe he's in Ireland. Anthony thought he maybe got abducted. Anthony actually said he got a ransom note, but he never told nobody about it. I guess it's because they were asking for too much. And Blitz the bookies broke. Anthony, what were they at? What'd you say they were asking for?
100,000 cash, or
100 G.
Josh, it gets thrown into the Gulf of America.
So if anybody wants to start a GoFundMe for Josh, just let us know. We'll spread the word and try to get Josh back. So I don't know where he's at. Maybe
I thought
Australia.
I thought it was maybe a shark attack until I got the abduction ransom letter there. So
Well, I mean, are you not getting the pictures that he keeps sending us of all the
I
white
think those were
people?
coming from the bad guys to try to throw his family off. They told me not to say nothing to his family or they'd kill him, so it's I'm just trying to raise the money. So try to get him back.
Well, hopefully Josh will be back one of these days. We'll either raise some money or he'll just pop back up. Maybe he is really on just a 2-week vacation. But either way it goes, it's just us two. And we are in, me and Josh said this last week. Rumor is just rumor time. The transfer portal. Now we're halfway through the transfer portal. Last week when we did the show, it was just opening. Now we're a week in, right at halfway, and it is absolute madness. Complete madness. Me and Josh talked about it last week. I cannot keep up with the transfer portal. I haven't tried. Anthony, we talked about it a little bit in the first half, and I was curious on how you were right now with this transfer portal, but I think you're on the same page with me and Josh,
Boring.
right?
It's not even a high school recruiting used to be so much fun to watch. You get these young, exciting players. And let's be honest with it, most of these portal players are kind of boring players. If they were like the exciting players, they'd already be going to the NBA. And that's no knock on them. They still are good basketball players. I'm not saying that. But, it's almost like in horse racing. When you go to the Keeneland September sale, you get a chance at one of the stud babies. When you claim a horse or when you kind of go to some other sales, yeah, you can get something really good that's of good value, but you don't have that dream of maybe landing that superstar because that superstar is typically going to come out of that freshman class, something we ain't seen yet. Once you've seen them, you know if they're a superstar. Not saying they can't improve, but At that point, you're just trying to get good players, which you can win with that. You can win at a high level. But there is something to be said for that young stud horse or that young stud player, that dynamic player. We've had a lot of them with Cal. That just the guy that's really exciting and fun to watch. That John Wall, Anthony Davis, De'Aaron Fox, Carl Anthony Towns, whoever it is. Those guys that are just those dynamic players. You don't really get those in the transfer portal. There might be a few, but there's not many.
That's a really good comparison. The young horse and the claimer,
Yeah.
to this transfer portal. It really is. It's not That's not a knock, on these
You
players,
can get
but
a claimer good one.
yeah, and there we saw it last year. I mean, the guy that Kentucky was going after, I always forget his name. I always wanna say Luxembourg, but you know the guy I'm talking about,
Yep.
the guy that went to Michigan. He turned out to
Sure.
be one of the better players in the country. I know he's an older guy, but he turned out really good, and he helped them win a national championship. So you can get good players, but it is a really good analogy. I like that. Hadn't really thought of it that way. But yeah, being a horse racing fan myself, yeah, I could see that, and it does make sense. And it's just crazy right now. Speaking of the young stud, you know, the talk's been about Tyran Stokes, and he's the number one. He's the number one. He will be the number one freshman next year. He's the top recruit in the country, and he still hasn't decided. And Kentucky had him for a visit on Monday, I believe. Monday or yeah, I'm losing my days here. Today's Wednesday, so I think it was Monday, and he was on campus. Uh, it's been well noted that it's between him and Kansas. I think this is turning into a bit of a shit show with Tyron Stokes. I want the kid because I want that young stud that Mark Pope hasn't had in his first 2 years. I'd like to get that guy. I think that guy can help our fan base that is divided right now, which we'll talk about a little bit later, but I think it can help that other side of that divide that is very negative on Mark Pope and the program right now and kind of bring them back in. So I want Stokes. Uh, there, everybody's talking about maybe the issues with his attitude and all that. Look, I want the kid, but I think the fact that this is dragging on is starting to get a little fishy to me. It seemed like Kansas was his number one, and then of course he was waiting on Bill Self. Well, Bill Self, it's been like a week that he said he was coming back. I'm wondering why we didn't get it 2 to 3 days after that.
He
Now,
went. Go
huh?
ahead. I'm
Now, well,
sorry.
I know what you're going to say, and what most people say. That he's trying to drive that number up, but at this point, wouldn't you think that the numbers kind of are probably what they are? Maybe it can go up. I don't know how it all works with the deals, but you think they're still up in deals and stuff right now? Is the Kentucky kind of set down a number, Kansas kind of set down their number and their deal, or do you think they're really still leveraging and getting more money all the way to the last second? Or
I look.
at some point, I feel like a university has to lay down their number, right, and say this is what it is. So I don't. I mean, I don't know. I know that's what everybody's going to say is he's trying to drive the number up, and that might be the case. But at this point, I feel like Kansas or Kentucky would have kind of said, "Hey, this is what it is."
I, I think he wants to play for Kansas. I think, but it's been known for a long time before this really ever even got started. You'd hear on the message boards, some different forums around different teams across the country, uh, that his his people were shopping him out. That was known from the very get go that his people were shopping him out, and I think in my heart he wants to go to Kansas, but I don't think Kentucky. I think Kentucky's making that hard because they're offering him a big number. That's my guess. That's my guess. I agree with everything you said about needing him to kind of unite the fan base, kind of prove Mark Pope can do it. But for that reason, I think Kentucky is almost they have to get him. They feel like they do. I don't agree with that. I don't think Mark Pope can handle that kind of situation, personality. And I'm not saying Mark's dumb, but that's kind of anti what Mark is, what he's
He's
struggling with
never
a little
seen it though.
bit.
He's never seen it though. He's never had that guy. We don't know if he can
I
handle him.
know, but it just seems like he's struggling sometimes with the mental part of it and getting all this to work and being the cool coach. I think they handle personality. I mean, Self struggled to handling Peterson last year. To handle a situation like this, to me, it gets trouble written all over it. To me, it screams Sheldon Sharp, Peterson. Here this guy is shopping himself out. He really don't care if the whole world knows he's shopping himself out. Is he going to get there and just protect his draft stock all year and really not play or fake injury? Too much investment for a player that's acting that way from the get go for me. I'm sure if we have an opportunity to get him, it's a very large number. Spend that large money across the board on somebody else. But I do feel like there is probably a big part of the Kentucky administration that feels like they have to get this guy. So I could easily see Kentucky offering a really big number. If I was him right now, I would want to play for Kansas, a more proven coach in that situation than I would Kentucky.
Yeah, if he's gonna play, but your mindset is that he's
Yeah.
gonna if you're thinking, well, might be one of those guys that comes in and fakes injury or doesn't play or protects his draft stock, then what does it matter whether he goes Kentucky, Kansas, Virginia Tech?
No, no, and I think, don't get me wrong, I think there's probably it's probably a little bit more likely that he don't. But to me, if you're even close to 50-50 on that, then that's too dangerous, too risky because you're investing a lot of money and putting a lot of the eggs in the basket of that player. And it might be me judging somebody, and maybe I shouldn't, but I just got a bad taste on my mouth for those top players right now that are acting like that. Some of those top players don't act like that and act like they're decent people. But from everything I've read from the get go, before we even really, really got involved with him strongly, the word on the street was that, his people were shopping him out to the highest bidder.
Yeah, so look, I don't think we need him, but I definitely want him just because I think it would put a spark in what is right now a flame that's just going out. I mean,
And
Kentucky basketball is flaming out right now. I will never say that we're dying or we're getting to a Louisville or Indiana level. I would never say that. But we are stuff is not going good right now, and if it doesn't trend up next year, it's just gonna be even more so.
like,
So I want him to just put a spark back on that flame. The flame is going out. Spark the flame, and hopefully, it's a good spark, and he doesn't do what you said and fizzle out on his own, put himself out. I think that's a whole nother argument that my side of that. I think at some point these scouts and these NBA teams need to stop these guys that do that. What you're saying, I need to see more than you being a star in high school. I need to see you step up and play in college and perform in college. I get it. You was good in high school. I get it. You were good in the AAU. That's fine. I need to see before I invest in you to come to the highest level. I need you to step up to that college level and play a full season and show me you can perform at that level. I don't like the fact that these kids think that they can do that and they'll still get drafted. I think it's bullshit,
but
and I think it should hurt your stock, not
it,
protect it. I think it should hurt your stock
it,
when
it
you do that.
should. And I agree with that, Charlie. I get where you're coming from because I was raised the same way, and my feelings are that. But you got to remember the teams that have that number one pick are typically not very good teams. They don't have the luxury of being picky and choosy, landing the next superstar player, and they will always draft off potential and talent because a lot of times that works. We've seen it work several
A
times.
lot of times it don't
It
though.
don't, but
I'd rather get you a real high profile player that's played at least 1 year and averaged 20 something points a game in college or something that proved that they can, and that's not a guarantee either. You could still, but
yeah.
it at least is a step.
I like
High
the high
school or
potential guy.
AAU straight to the NBA is a big step. I want to see you produce in college.
If we're talking top 20 player in the draft, top 30, but when I'm taking the number one pick, I need a guy with high potential. Number one pick are supposed to be organization changers. And so I got to take the high potential guy from that standpoint. Look, I hope Pope works out. I absolutely hope I will support whoever sits in that chair. And yes, I've been rough on Pope lately, and mainly because he just kept taking jabs at Cal, and I didn't understand it. And like his mental game became weak to me from that standpoint. I wasn't crazy about Pope right off the bat, but I supported him and I looked for the positives in him. And I still think there's positives there. I think he's a good in game coach. I think he's decent at evaluating talent. There's some good things I think he does. I definitely think he is a little awkward to these recruits. So, and he, and the biggest thing he's struggling with right now is perception from the recruits. He's not the it coach. We're not the it school. What Cal did when he first came from Memphis to Kentucky overnight, we became the it school because Kentucky fans can think it was because of Kentucky, but it wasn't. Players play for coaches now. Now, he had the platform of Kentucky to use, which was a positive, but we became the it school overnight because of Calipari's relationship with these top players. Top players wanted to play for him, and if Pope don't work out, we got to go find the next guy that's the it coach, and we as fans got to calm down because we are starting to make it in my eyes, where maybe some of these top coaches don't want to come here because they don't want to deal with our crazy ass. And I love all the fans, but sometimes our fans can be a little bit crazy, a little bit bipolar, a little bit over the top. So, as a program, we're in a very pivotal time. I believe in Pope and think he can still do it, but I definitely have my worries.
Yeah, me too. And we'll save it a little bit towards the end to talk about kind of the split in the fan base because I do want to address that. Before we get into that, though, let's go through kind of what we've seen with the transfer portal on the Kentucky side. I know we've talked about it. Then me and Josh talked about it last week, and we said it in the first half that we're not heavily invested into a lot of these players in the transfer portal. We're not invested into doing a ton of research on the transfer portal. So, Anthony, you still there? Can you still hear
Yep,
me?
I am.
All right, I was just making sure. It looked like you froze up a
Yep.
little bit. But for on the Kentucky side, of course, uh, we're kind of locked into that. And right now, the big talk has been the point guard position. The last couple days has been up in the air. The Rob Wright kid came on, I believe, on Monday, the same day, or maybe it was Tuesday, the day after Stokes, but one of the two, Monday or Tuesday. He's the kid from BYU, point guard for BYU last year. I think he was, if not the top point guard, one of the top point guards in the transfer portal. And the talk the last 2 to 3 days was it was almost a lock that he was going to come to Kentucky. Something happened with the visit the other day. I don't know. I know the popular talk is that he's, like Anthony said, awkward, doesn't know how to relate to these players. And man, I would love to be a fly on the wall to see if that's what it is, because of course that's what everybody assumes. And I kind of assume the same thing. I'm not just putting it on like you're assuming, like I do too. I don't think he's relating to these guys, but I would love to really know like how the conversation goes. But something didn't go right because, well, something didn't go right because Wright went back to BYU.
I don't think, and part of that might have been that BYU, we took Pope from them at that point, and it might have been a deal where they just weren't going to let Pope win that bidding war, and Pope just can't be done with his money at this point because he
And
was
they
kind of
just
done
got
last
Chandler,
year with it.
and they just got
Yeah,
Chandler back too.
yeah, that was a shot because, and BYU got a lot, a pretty good amount of money, but I think it's very important for Pope to be good with his money this year. So he's definitely trying to be good with his money, but I'm sure a lot of it is waiting on to see what Stokes does because I'm sure that's a pretty big part of the money at that point. I wonder, and I've thought about this, if Pope even 100% wants Stokes, or is that more pressure because he listens to the fans, or pressure from the top dogs at Kentucky that, hey, we want him. Uh, I like to think Pope gets to choose his own team, but is there a lot of pressure for him to go after him even if he didn't want him?
I'd say there is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I kinda feel that way a little bit too. Maybe not directly from the administration, but maybe he feels that pressure from the fans, which we know Pope kinda, keeps a pulse on that, so
So what I wonder is kind of what you just said. Is it that Pope is awkward and can't relate, or is it that we're not offering as much money as we were last year because he's trying to possibly not make some of the same mistakes of overpaying guys that aren't worth whatever that number is.
yeah.
So, yes, I do have a worry that he's not relating to the players, but Anthony, it is a good chance that maybe BYU offered Rob Wright however much more. And maybe last year we would have offered Rob Wright a million more or 500,000 or 2 million, whatever the number is. And maybe Pope is not trying to make those mistakes. Maybe
Mhm.
he's eyed up four other point guards that are between 80th and 130th ranked. I know that's not shiny. That's not the Ferrari that he talked about last year, but it is a different way to go about things as opposed to what he's tried to do. So
Probably the
is it
team
to
needed.
offer this? Is it that we're not offering as much money?
I don't really think Pope needs the top players. He wants to play a deep team, a deep bench. He wants to play a lot of players. There's no doubt in my mind that when you play a lot of players, that is a big kind of draw away from your top players. Top players don't want to play on teams that play 10, 11 man deep rotations. And Pope tried that almost like when Tubby got a bad taste in his mouth for the 5 stars. I think Pope, had a lot of success or a solid amount of success with that team the first year. He's going after shooters, he's going after his kind of team. And, I'll say the same thing as I said about Stoops. If he goes out, dude, he wants to go out, the way that he wants to go out. I think last year they probably gave him a big old checkbook.
Hold on, it's
Uh,
switched cameras on me.
uh, Last year I think that they probably gave him a big old checkbook, and he just went out and brought a bunch of shiny new toys that really didn't go together. And so I think this year he goes out and he tries to buy more of the kind of team that fits him. I do think Pope has recruiting issues. But we just need to get some momentum. He needs to be, to learn to be the it coach. Because right now, I just don't think Pope has the ability to recruit at the top level. Some of these guys are really good recruiters, dude. They've been in the recruiting game a long time. They're cool guys. I mean, look, the players, and I'm just using him as an example. This ain't one of my love moments for Cal. Um, but Cal, he's a cool guy to these players. He has a reputation and people don't realize this. These coaches get reputations amongst the AAU coaches, amongst these people, and word on the street gets out on you. And the word on the street right now, I don't think is a positive one for Coach Pope, especially having that $22 million roster and doing nothing with it. I think stuff like that in today's world of where we have the NIL with social media, with the transfer portal, a little negative energy can really hurt you for the next couple years. I think Stoops struggled with that. When NIL first started, Kentucky was way behind. We just happened to have the god of recruiting in Coach Cal that didn't even need money to get top recruits. We didn't appreciate him for that. And then they didn't give Kentucky football very much at all. And then they finally gave him some decent amount last year, and it wasn't great, but decent. But by that time, going through a couple years of not having good money, it kind of had ruined that brand a little bit. And so then you have to pay more because you're not the it or cool school. Like I kind of feel like Will Stein right now is getting players because he's kind of the new it coach, the new cool school. So he's definitely getting a little bit of a discount, just like I talked about the Cal discount. Some of your top players, some of your top programs, because they have shown they develop players or they win, they get a little bit of a discount for that reason. Right now, we're probably paying a premium with the situation that Coach Pope is in.
All right. Well, that was a long-winded way of not answering my question of, is there a chance that the reason we're not getting these guys is that we're not paying them as much money as last year?
But I think there's
Because a lot of
absolutely
the things that you just said, like, kinda hinted towards, like, we might not be paying as much. So
there's no doubt.
did we lose Rob Wright because Pope is awkward and he
I
can't relate to Rob Wright, or did we lose Rob Wright because we
combina
weren't willing to offer him 4,000,000 and we only
Probably a
offered him
combination of
2,000,000?
both. I mean, there's a lot of factors I think that goes into that, but a combination of both. A combination of both. I mean, Cal even said it. When he went back at Pope after he said that, he said that, well, they won't have as much money as they did last year. There's no way you get a Will Stein as a coach in football without guaranteeing him some money. Way too much of the budget went to football. I mean, to basketball last year. It's supposed to be opposite for most schools. Um, and I think the administration realized that mistake and, they realize they need to fix that. There's no doubt if you want to be serious about football. So he definitely does not have the budget and he definitely has to be smarter with his money.
And
So
how
that,
many times this year did I hear, "This roster's no good. He better not make the same mistakes next year."
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that was the
No,
big
I
talking
agree
point.
with that.
He
Hmm.
better not make the same mistakes. He better not make the same mistakes. You need to
Yeah.
get more point guards. You need to get more shooters. We don't need a $22,000,000 roster. So, yeah, everybody is assuming that it's because Mark Pope is this awkward dork that can't relate to, and look, he might be. I don't know. That's why I say I wish I was a fly on the wall, because I tend to agree with the fact that I do think he can't relate, but I'm not in the room and I
Yeah.
don't know. That is an assumption. I do not know. I'm and none of us do. We're not there when he's talking to
No,
these recruits. So we're assuming by what we see on the TV of Mark Pope, and a lot of people are like, he's a dork, he's Ned Flanders. Everybody's calling him Ned Flanders now. You seen that? That's the new thing I've seen the last couple days.
I've
I've
said
seen
it
like
from the
10 different
I've said
people
it from the
call
get
him
go. Everybody told me I would not they didn't tell me I was stupid, but people just kind of laughed at me when I said, talked about these worries and now it's just hitting them. Could nobody see that? I know they could, but like it
No,
was
we see it.
obvious.
We see it, but again, we don't know what's going on when he's in the room with
Dude,
Tyran Stokes.
I
We don't
agree.
know.
And this is the way I look at it. And maybe this is just the older fan and more mature fan of me. Whatever he gets, he's gonna get. I have no control over that as a fan. I do know this is whoever sits in that Kentucky coaching chair, I will support. I 100% will support. He made me a little mad here recently with some comments. Okay. It's like, where's your mind at, dude? I'm sitting here taking up for you when a lot of people aren't. And here you are doing some dumb shit. So I got frustrated with him. But when the ball hits the court, I'm going to be right there to support him. Uh, he got it right the first year. The second year, he struck out. And now it's important that he gets it right because I think, if anything, just for momentum, you can't gain back that momentum. And that's the only benefit of really firing a coach and hiring a new coach is you kind of get to start over with your perception. And that's where bringing in a new coach can give you that new perception. He needs to get it right this year, not just for his job, but for to be successful for years to come because he needs to become okay, I'll go to Kentucky. This guy develops me. We're going to win at a high level. He needs the created identity as a coach, what he's looking for, and what kind of team he wants to be. Do you want to be a team of 10, 11 players that we're deep, that we don't want a lot of freshmen? But you need to find that identity, almost like Patino has that identity. Patino has that identity of he don't really recruit freshmen. Freshmen don't want to play for him because word got out years ago that he didn't play on. And that's one of the reasons he got out of college basketball. But he came back because NIL was here and he could buy a lot of players. But if that's going to be your identity is taking older players and not focusing on a lot of freshmen, then make that your identity. But I do think in this portal world, you need a little bit of an identity so you can kind of target players to fit that identity. And they'll want to play for you because they know it's a place that benefits players like them.
Yeah, so we missed out on one point guard, but we did actually just a couple hours later land a point guard, Zoom Diallo, the kid from Washington. And I haven't been online since it's happened because we've been recording to really see the reaction, but I'm sure it's gonna be mixed between Kentucky fans because everything's mixed right now. But I will say this, before, about 2 to 3 days ago, before all the big Rob Wright talk started, the talk was about Zoom Diallo. He was kind of the first guard that Kentucky fans started talking about that we were targeting, and the conversation shifted very quickly once we heard that Wright was coming on Monday, and everybody kind of pushed Diallo over to the side. And now that we end up with Diallo, I wonder, and I'll find out later or tomorrow when I get on how Kentucky fans are reacting, because I can only imagine half of the people that were probably talking about Zoom Diallo 4 to 5 days ago are now gonna be saying, "We just got our second option. We got our third option, blah, blah, blah," with and being, as about as pessimistic as you possibly can. Look, we didn't get Rob Wright, but we got at least the start, and I get it. Some of these teams have already made decisions and picked up 1, 2, 3 guys in the first week, and we've really only got 1. But is it a race? I mean, you got a full 15 days. Is it a race to
No,
get the the top guys or the most guys the fastest? Because as far as I'm concerned, there's 7 days left and stuff can still pan out and fall into place.
it
Again,
will. It will.
and it will. We'll fill a roster, and hopefully he does it, hopefully he does some things that people saw last year. Get a couple point guards, maybe 3, maybe 4. Get as many as you can that are halfway decent and serviceable, and get some shooters. Do those things, and I trust that, Mark Pope will know the other look, a couple of our big guys already left. That's a sign to me that he's got something planned. If not, then we've got more issues. If he's just letting Brandon Garrison and Diabate walk and we have no plan, we're in trouble. So I believe that he's got something worked up. And we still got 7 days. I am a little worried, but we still got 7 days. Let it play out. But we do need to fill a roster, Anthony. We only got Diallo's the only transfer. We got the one freshman, the Williams kid, and then we got Marino back.
And
Uh,
Hawthorne.
we got Noah announced he's coming back, and
Mountain
actually
Mamba, baby.
Hawthorne has not officially said he's coming back.
Okay.
There's word going around the internet right now. I heard he made a comment saying he hasn't even thought about if he's coming back or not, just like yesterday or the day before. So now people are talking about that and whether he is or isn't. So I don't know about Hawthorne. I tend to think he's coming back, but he did kind of throw out a comment that maybe leans towards there might be something else going on. But other than him, we only got Marino, Trent Noah, and we got our and we got 2 point guards because we got the freshman coming in and we got Diallo now. So it's a start.
It is,
It,
and I think, you know how I feel. I think we got a really important piece in Malachi Moreno. I really think the guy is gonna be the cornerstone of our team. I really do. When I went on them the big debates with the big guys across college basketball, some of the top ones, he really had a better freshman year in almost all of them. I think he hit a freshman wall a little bit, but I just think you see so much improvement in big guys from that first to second year. And I really think Moreno is going to be the cornerstone of the team. I think it was important for the staff to re-sign him. I think for rightful reasons. I'm excited about Moreno, and we got Diallo, and we get us a couple more good players to go with them, and got to have some shooters. This Diallo is not a shooter. It don't look like his 3-point percentage is right at 30%. He'll be a junior. His freshman year was 18%. He averaged 11 points a game as a freshman, 15 points a game this year. So assists
it's
this
all
year.
right.
Yeah,
I don't always have to have a shooting point guard.
me
As
neither. I
long
don't
as
either.
we have
I don't
other
either.
shooters if we have other shooters,
Hmm.
I'm not gonna say I prefer to not have one, but I kinda like the true point guard.
Hmm.
Not that they can't shoot or won't shoot, but I like the guy that wants to facilitate the offense. He'll score if he needs to, but he doesn't have to jack up shots, take bad shots. I want a smart point guard. Hopefully, that's what Diallo is, and hopefully we get other guys that can shoot the ball.
6'4", 6'5", looks athletic. I like a long point guard, an athletic point guard. So it's he averaged 4 rebounds a game. his free throw percentage is 83%, which is good. I like a point guard that can shoot free throws. You don't want to get to the point in the
Heck
year where
yeah.
you can't hit free throws. So, um, yeah, I'm uh, I'm good
I
with him.
want the I want the
I'm
Drew
good
Ca
with him.
I want the Drew Harris kid from Wake Forest. I have not heard us linked to him at all, but I think he's ranked like 4th or 5th, maybe in the transfer portal, somewhere in the top 10. I really like that kid. He's a 6'7" swing man. He's one that I would like, and then we are looking at the Freeman kid, from Syracuse, which looks to be like he would be a good pickup too. Other than those 2, and again, Juke Harris, I haven't even heard us link to him at all, but man, I wish we would try to go get that kid. Other than that, look, I don't know all these players. Josh's Virginia Tech kid that he's been talking about since early in the year, he ended up going to North Carolina, so we're not getting him. There's a couple guys from St. Mary's. That's Anthony's 3rd favorite
Not no
team.
more. Not no more. They were, dude. I watched them. They were like a bunch of kids, but they did have that guy hurt.
Well, that Graves kid that actually had a pretty good game against Kentucky. He's in the transfer portal and he's ranked like 4th out of the whole transfer portal, which is
Yeah.
pretty surprising. I didn't think he was. I'm not saying I thought he was bad, but I didn't think he was that good. But he's still available too. So who knows? Maybe that Graves kid ends up at Kentucky. I wouldn't.
I think I heard somewhere, I don't know if it's true or not, that Moreno turned down like $4 million somewhere to play for somebody. I mean, I think he got paid in Kentucky, but I don't
I
think
was
he
gonna
got four
say he
million.
got. I bet he got pretty damn close.
Yeah.
I bet
Yeah.
he. I bet he got a hefty pay. He probably. I mean,
People
he's
said
going
he
to be
was going to be
coming.
a top 10 portal player. I heard that he would have been a with this freshman year that he had as a big guy.
I, I
I'd heard
believe
that he would
that.
have been a top 10 portal guy. Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see that, and I think he got paid. I don't know the number, but if
Mhm.
he turned down 4, I bet you he's getting close to 4.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think the guy genuinely loves the program. We talk about want players like that. I think Moreno's that dude. I think he grew
Well,
up
I
here. I
agree.
just think he's a country boy. He's seems like a soft spoken kid. I think he enjoys wearing the jersey. So I think he comes from a good family. So I think nothing but good things on that end. But
We need him to be the cornerstone. I hope he does. I hope he lives up to that ceiling that we've all seen and we've all talked about on this show. I hope he lives up to that because we do need that, and it would be great for a kid like him, a Kentucky kid, to be that guy. We haven't had a Kentucky guy be that guy.
been a
Darius
while.
Miller, Darius Miller, but he wasn't even that guy. I
No,
mean,
he was good, but yeah, he
he
wasn't
was
that guy.
really good, but he wasn't that guy. I don't even know. Honestly, I don't even know when the last time we've had a guy that might be our best player that's from Kentucky. So it would be really fun. Uh, it'd be great to see him do that. So I hope I'm glad he's coming back. Technically, he's going testing the waters, so we'll see what happens. But this draft is so loaded. He should be back. And yeah, we need him to be great, dude. We do. We need Marino to be great, and we need Mark Pope to build a team here in the next 7 days. That's what you got left, bub.
Yeah.
You got a
Yeah.
week.
But
Eh,
guess what happens this Saturday, Charlie?
This
Spring
Saturday,
spring
spring
practice
football
back.
game?
Spring
Yeah,
game, baby. Spring
spring
game,
game. I wish
and
we could
it's,
go, Anthony.
yeah, and it's football season. The talk of the football program right now is definitely the offensive line. You know
Shit, the talk's the number 2 quarterback getting signed. Did you
Yeah,
miss
yeah,
that?
I seen
Number
it, I
2
seen it.
quarterback in the country,
Yeah.
that's a big get right there, man.
And listen, that is a good gift, but they kinda overmarketed that a little bit. He was like the number 2 of a certain style. He was still like just like a top 200 player, but it was still a hell of a gift for us. It was still a
What, he
hell of a
wasn't the
gift.
number 2 overall quarterback?
Yeah, but it wasn't as they made that I seen that how headline too, and I was super excited when I seen it. And when I dug into it, he was just like a top 200 player, which is awesome, which is awesome. But they got different kind of quarterbacks. They'll have like a pro style quarterback, and they have like three different styles. And I think he was number 2 on one of those lists. I think of what it was, if I'm not mistaken. But dude, that's still a good gift for us, and,
I
and,
trust
and I'm
I
super
trust Will
excited about it.
Stein.
For a second, I thought we had like a top 40, a top 50 guy. What's that?
I said, "I trust Will Stein, though."
Sorry.
Am I
Yeah,
cutting out?
no doubt. He seems like from I've been watching the spring football stuff. And it seems like he's not trying to really be involved a lot with the offense. He's trying to be a manager and be a leader. You can see that with what Coach Stein is doing, which I really like. The names that are, get attention is of course DJ Miller. He was a freshman last year at the end of the year. He really was kind of really coming along as a freshman. They start targeting him and he was putting up big numbers. He was out of St. Louis. Of course, you got the boy from Collins there from Oklahoma, the wide receiver. He was a big recruit out of high school, transferred to LSU his sophomore year. That mess happened, but he's coming off an injury, and so is CJ Baxter from Texas. They're not playing a lot this spring, but that was anticipated. But the names that are kind of playing that are big, of course, is the DJ Miller, the offensive line, Colton Price, the center, the Herd, Integra from Ohio State, our offensive line. Everybody's talking about Willie Rodriguez and the whole tight end room as a whole. The coaching staff loves Willie Rodriguez, loves him. It was a holdover from the Stoops team. They really like Willie. And word is that Baxter, the linebacker transfer from Texas, is looking good. So we got some good stuff working out there. The boy from Oklahoma is also the other running back. He's also injured and not to expect to play a lot in the spring. I hope those guys pan out. There's a transfer that I want to talk about, that I'm excited about, that I've done a little research on. And they say he's going to be right in the conversation for a starter. He was a big, like, top 100 player. He went to Alabama. He was from Norway. His name's like, uh, he's got a Norwegian name, long hair, blonde hair. And he played like almost 200 snaps at Alabama. But they were just loaded at his position. But it sounds like the staff really likes him, and you add that with the big 3 transfers that we got. If he can really pan out to be something good, this offensive line might be something special.
I love everything I'm seeing out of Will Stein right now. I wish we could go to the spring game. Of course, we'll be at the baseball field. Wish I would have scheduled that a little bit better, but it is what it is. But yeah, we'll be talking here in the next few weeks about football. Like I said, next week on the first half of the show, we're gonna be talking some NFL draft, but we will definitely be highlighting some we'll probably highlight some position groups and maybe even some players moving forward throughout the summer and then leading into the season. But we'll be doing some of that, and I wish I could be there on Saturday, Anthony. It's
Yep, me
going to be
too.
fun. It's going to be fun. I think I need to go to the first 2 football games. We got
Wow.
a warm-up game, and then we got Alabama at home. Anthony, I think we need to be at both of the first 2 games of the Will Stein era.
Yeah, and I do really like our team. I do like our team. I'm excited about it. But everything I've read as I'm trying to keep up with these college football teams, Alabama's supposed to be really good this year. So, which they're good every year, but
Yeah, they're
man,
good.
I wish we could catch them on an off year, dude. We got a hard schedule. We got a really hard
We
schedule.
we're
To me,
we're
it's not
catching
about
them
wins and
early in the
losses.
year.
To me, it's not about wins and losses this year. It's about, are we in the fight? Is it competitive? Like the energy. I cannot count wins and losses when we're fighting programs that have been building for 3 or 4 years. It matters in football, man, having those holdovers. It's not like basketball. Players stick around more in some of these programs. And with the situation Stoops was in, where he barely got a little bit of money at the end, and now he left, it's kind of like starting over. So, it's kind of a tough situation. So I'm not counting wins and losses. I'm counting the energy and how good we look.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, we can't go into this season with any kind of bar for wins. Like we need to be at this or that. Absolutely not. I agree with what you said. It's about the energy. It's about just a new era. And I think the first year is going to be good, though, Anthony. I
Okay,
do.
I do
I,
too. I do too.
I've
I just
said
know our
the
schedule's
number.
really tough.
I've said the number, and I'm gonna save it for right now. I'll talk about it more when we have some more heavy football episodes. But I've got a number in my head that I've already went through all the games and came up with my record, and it's probably gonna surprise you a little bit. And I've went through it a couple times trying to come off of it. We're getting some wins, Anthony. And
I
hey,
like it.
I know Alabama's good. They're always good, but we're catching them. Maybe not on an off year, but you know what? We are catching them early in the season with a brand new coach that nobody's going to really know about yet. And they're only going to have a 1 week, and we're playing Poop State or whoever it is in week 1. There's not going to be enough tape on Will Stein. And I think that's about as good as you can get for catching a good Alabama
I
team
agree.
at
I
home
agree.
early in the season. Hopefully we're healthy. I get it, they'll be healthy, but we'll be healthy, and a brand new coach that nobody's gonna. I mean, yeah, they got some tape on what he does, but hey, head coach, it could be different. They're not gonna have enough time to scout him. And as I've noted, Alabama's got a split fan base, Anthony. They don't even want their coach. They might sabotage their coach.
Yeah, yeah,
And
that's
a loss to Kentucky in week 2 might do it.
I actually think that, Kalen DeBoer has, like, slowly and secretly maybe started to win some of them Alabama fans over, like, some
I got
stuff
an
I've heard
Alabama
it.
fan I got an Alabama fan that told me, and he lives in Alabama,
Okay.
and he told me just like a month ago, because I asked him, "What is the percentage of fans? Like, what is it? Is it split down there?" And I said 50-50, and he said it's more like 60-40. He
Okay,
said
yeah. I don't even
60%.
think it was that at one point, though. I don't even think I
He
think it
said
was like
well, he said no,
80-20.
he said 60% want him out.
Yeah, yeah.
60% want him out. So, they're dealing with the same shit that Kentucky basketball is
Oh,
dealing
it
with.
is, but I do
Very,
think at
very
some
super
point.
high expectations.
Yeah, it is. It is. And they've had some good talent too, though. They've had some good talent. I tell you one thing that's the angle I'm playing with that offensive lineman from Alabama. They had an offensive line coach there that was just kind of a good recruiter, and he wasn't a very good coach. He put up some good numbers when he was at Michigan State, the running game did, but that was with Kenneth Walker for 2 years. We all know what Kenneth Walker was, and that was really the only good stint he had. Then he went to Alabama, and they kept him because he was a good recruiter, but they finally got rid of him. I'm thinking that guy maybe wasn't a very good offensive line coach, and I'm hoping that's the angle where we get that big Norwegian that was a top 100 player, and he develops into something nice.
All right, so yeah, we'll be keeping an eye on the spring game on Saturday as we're at the baseball field. Actually, we won't even be at the baseball field. Well, yeah, I guess what is it? It's 11 o'clock. Did I hear 11 or 12?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
don't
well,
I'm not sure.
it's pretty early. We'll try to keep an eye on that, and of course, for the next 7 days, we will be keeping an eye on the Kentucky basketball roster and how it's gonna play out, and the heat that is on Mark Pope, and it's not getting much better.
Oh,
Maybe
it's
if he
fine.
lands maybe if he lands Stokes here in the next 7 days and a couple other, good players. Matter of fact, if he just lands Stokes, I think he'd get some people back on board. So, we'll keep an eye on it. We'll let you know if we hear anything, but we are not, trying to break any news. So, when it comes to transfer portal, Blitz the Bookie's not breaking the news. Right Side of Kentucky Sports not breaking.
Nobody knows, dude.
No.
Nobody knows.
But on TikTok and on YouTube and on Twitter and Instagram and
Everybody
Facebook,
knows.
everybody knows. Everybody's got an inside source. It's crazy how all these guys, they all act like they have some kind of inside. Oh, I just got a text today. Oh, I just got a call. I just talked. Some of them will literally say, I just talked to my source. Look, I'm not saying people don't have sources, and some people do have sources. But come on, dude.
I
Like, what are we talking about? Random people on Twitter with freaking 700 followers acting like they've got this inside information. It is a crazy time we're living in right now, Anthony.
Hey,
And I'm
that
sure
inside
that people
information bullshit, that's been going on forever, dude. It's been going it has, I swear. They used to do that shit. "Oh, we got a story." And, it's fans Kentucky fans being Kentucky fans. It's just how it's been for a long time. They wear me out sometimes, but they're me. That's, my people. So I love them. I support them. But
everybody's trying to
inside,
break news, dude. Everybody's trying to break news right now. Shit's funny to me, actually. And we didn't get into it much, and we got to get off here. But dude, our fan base is ridiculously split right now, and we need to get it together. Like we have got to come together to some common ground because man, we are just arguing with each other. I will put up a post, Anthony, and it won't even be controversial. It just be a post about Kentucky, and it's gonna piss somebody off.
Oh,
And I've
yeah.
got and then I've just got Kentucky fans coming at me. Dude,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
a Kentucky fan. I'm one of you.
Yes, they're
Why
not
are
saying
you
like
coming
that.
at me? We're supposed to be going at Louisville fans right now. Real quick before we get out of here, I gotta say this. Pat Kelsey is getting the biggest pass in the history of this state because him and Mark Pope have neither one of them have done shit in the first 2 years. But let me tell you this: Mark Pope has some big wins, and Mark Pope got to the second weekend of the tournament, and Pat Kelsey ain't done neither one of those. Pat Kelsey in 2 years, I think, has one quad one win. And he is getting a complete pass because Mark Pope is not doing good and Kentucky is struggling. Louisville's coming off the worst coach they've ever had and maybe the worst coach in the history of college basketball. And now they're okay with first and second round exits as long as Kentucky's not good. You know what that is, Anthony? That's called little brother. That's called little
It
brother.
is, or maybe they're getting a taste of football. Indiana got a little taste of football, and, they're a football school now. I think
Do
when
you
people get
agree
a
with
taste,
that with the Kelsey thing?
I agree, I somewhat agree, I do, but I really do. I somewhat I agree with that angle, but I do think there's a part of U of L fans that they understand football is the superior sport. Kentucky
Yeah, but
fans
you know
sometimes.
why? Because 'Cause they're delusional and they think they're Alabama when they have
Yes,
one
no, they
solid
do,
year, they
they
think
do,
they're
they
fucking
do,
Alabama.
they
They
do.
ain't even won the ACC yet. They've been
Yep.
in the ACC for over a decade and can't even win the ACC, but they have like a they don't even have a 9-3, 10-2 season because they always fuck it up. But dude, they have one good year. They think they're fucking Alabama.
No, they do. I agree with that. I think, used to think there was a day when Indiana would return to glory because of just all the tradition and the support there for basketball. But I think it's almost like a drug once you get a taste for football, man. I think once UK fans, all of them, truly get a taste for what high level success is in football, I think it'll calm down some of the basketball stuff.
We had
I think
some.
there's a lot of UK fans that don't think we can be good in football. I
We had
think they've been conditioned to believe that.
we had some good years with Stoops, dude. We
Yeah,
went
but
10
I'm talking about like
whatever. We
some
won
really
9
good
games,
years.
10 games. I mean,
Yeah, but I'm saying some years where you're in the playoff and you got a
well,
chance.
we need to see
If
that
we
happen. It's been
what
100 years, and we
yeah.
ain't never even been close to
But
that,
you've
so
seen Indiana have that, and you see them. I mean, they went crazy. Kentucky's a sleeping giant in that sense, man. I've seen them sell out Kroger Field when we've had bad teams. So could you imagine if we had a high level team? I think some of
oh,
that.
it'd be
I just
ridiculous.
think some people there's so many UK fans that just don't think we can be good in football. Like, and maybe that was true before with the way it was set up, in-state recruiting and stuff. But the NIL world has changed that. It seems to be we got money. Let's quit like just thinking like narrow-minded. Like college football is a lot bigger, better sport than college basketball. It just is. And the state of Kentucky would feel that way too if we were good. They just don't because they think the only thing they have to hang their hat on is college basketball. That's my belief. And
Well, that's because that's what it's been, and that's what it's been for the history of this school, so we need to see
yeah,
look, you're right, Indiana went from the worst program in college football 3 to 4 years ago to national champ. So it can definitely happen. And you're right. If it happened for Kentucky, we ain't got to win it all. If we made it to the SEC championship or it was in a position to make a top 12 playoff and made it, this this state would go crazy. The
it
state
would.
would go crazy.
You seen it with
BBN would
Indiana.
go nuts.
Yeah, you seen it when they Indiana, followed their team throughout all those, games in the tournament there this year.
We would do
That
that.
oh, no doubt. I believe that too because we're starving for it. We got a great fan base. There are so many UK fans that they're not into college football because they've never seen us be good, man.
Hey,
That's
you
the
do you think Indiana fans truly thought that they could be in the position that they're
no,
in
no,
3 years
no,
ago?
no, no.
Hell no. You gotta see
NIL changed that,
you gotta see
because
it
they
happen
thought the same
first.
thing we did. There's no talent in the high school ranks in the state of Indiana. There's very little. But with the NIL, it's not about that. It's about how much money you got, and what kind of coach you can get in there. and they got the it coach right now, and they got deep pockets. So good combination.
Got to see it happen, and I hope we do. I hope we
Yep.
do, and I think we will. And matter of fact, real quick before we get out of here, if you haven't listened to the interview that we just dropped on Monday with 2027 Kentucky football commit Brady Hull, he guaranteed it.
Yep, that's right.
My man guaranteed by the time he left Kentucky, which would be what, 5 years from now, Anthony,
Hmm. Yeah.
that we will be in a playoff. So my man is not only a stud on the offensive line, but I like him because he came in here and guaranteed that we're going to be in the playoff. And
I agree.
I believe him. So, hey, if you haven't checked that out, guys, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and I finally got it, Anthony. We are on Apple Podcast.
Let's
I
go.
had to jump through hoops and fire and all types of shit to get that done, but I got it
Totally.
done. Apple Podcast,
I
huh?
got an hour and 45 minutes, man. My wife's probably in there sweating bullets. I got to get these taxes done, man.
I got you. All right, guys, we'll catch y'all next week. Make sure you check out the interview with Brady. Check us out on all the social media platforms. We'll catch you next week. Blitz the bookie, guys.
See you guys. You have waited. I got it. Don't worry about it. I got it. Don't worry, Eddie. I told you I'd have it done by 12 o'clock. I'll have it done.
Charlie got the mic, he's dropping facts all day. Anthony's like, nah, I got the better parlay. Argue about the spread, it's a fierce debate. But when it comes to Wildcats, they align their fate. Blitz the bookies where the knowledge reigns. Charlie and Anthony bring the heat like flames. Talking parlays, breaking down the games. Kentucky Wildcats, they beat the same drums. Late nights, hustle deals on the line. Charlie Scassy's gonna make you shine. Anthony's heart where the numbers combine. Put your cash down, ride the incline. Blitz the bookies where the knowledge reigns. Charlie and Anthony bring the heat like flames. Talking parlays, breaking down the games. Kentucky Wildcats, they beat the same drums. From the tip off to the final play, they grind. Mics on fire, bets on their minds. Arguing odds till the last rewind. Blue and white, it's a bond you'll find. The bookies where the knowledge reigns. Charlie and Anthony bring the heat like flames. Talking parlays, breaking down the games. Kentucky Wildcats, they beat the same drums. Final play, they grind. Mics on fire, bets on their minds. Arguing odds till the last rewind. Blue and white, it's a bond you'll find.